Welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are continuing this week with our classic letters stamp set. And I don't know if you can see in the video the sparkle on here. Stay tuned to the end and I'll show you how to get that sparkle going on. So what we've got is we're just stamping the word Mary and using the leaves and the dot to kind of accent it. And I've got a cherry cobbler card base, and I've got a, this is 5.5 by 3, and I didn't write that down. So it's 5.5 by 3, and that's the basic white piece in the middle. So let's just write that down. So the basic white is 5.5 by 3, so it is the full length of the card base. And then I took a 5.25 by 4 piece of the Mossy Meadow, and I ran it through the Fern 3D embossing folder, and then I cut it into 1-inch strips. And each one of those strips is going to go on the outside, and then we're going to mount our basic white in the middle. This is kind of where I started with this. It was a 5.25 by 4, but it was way too plain. This is where we've got to. So I'm just going to pop this off to the side. We are going to use Cherry Cobbler and Mossy Meadow. There's lots of stamping in this one because I wanted to show everybody what was going on. And one of the things I said in the last video was that we can reverse these. We can stamp the back of the stamp and then put the other one over top. That works for everything except ones like the R. I think it's the L, the J, the R, and the P, and the Q, because they're directional. They're not kind of, if you were to put a line down the middle of them, they wouldn't be symmetrical. So you can't do it with all of the stamps, just some of them. So I was really kind of disappointed when I figured that out. But for a lot of them, it will work. It just won't work for all of them. So I've already been using this with the Cherry Cobbler, and you can see it's a little bit stained, but by putting it in the Versamark first, that really helps reduce the really saturated staining. So we're going to start near the top, and we're just going to come in just off center. We're going to stamp that down, and then we're going to come in with the E, and we're going to do the same thing. This one is going to come more over here like this. Here we go. And then we're going to do the R's. And we're just going to ink in and down like that. And I have a feeling I just dipped my finger in the ink, so just so that I don't end up getting it all over everything. And we're going to come in with the other R. Okay, and we're just going to put that off to the side. Okay, and then we're going to use the Y, and we're just going to pop this down. There we go. So we've got our word down. What I'm going to do is, I was thinking, do I put bling on here? What do I do? And what I found was just putting these little dots. Okay, hang on, I'm just going to pull off the camera. There we go. Nice thing about photopolymer stamps is if you make a mistake, you can go over it again. So I'm just adding these in, and I might be putting these a bit too close because I haven't put the leaves on yet. I don't know what it is about just putting these little dots on, but it just seems to really accent everything. We are going to come back with the little red dots in a bit, but I'm going to put the leaves on. So let's just do this. And again, with the leaves, put the stem just kind of off center. So you're kind of putting the middle of the stamp along the spine of the letter, just so you get lots of that greenery kind of off to the side. And put that down like that. Now the Y, you can use one of the more curved ones, or you can just come in and do that. And now we're going to do the leaves. We're going to do 2 sprigs. like that. Oh, I didn't ink that up. See, okay, here's the joy of the photopolymer. And I might pull it off frame here, but I need to line this up again. There we go. Okay. So we're going to come in, we're going to make sure we've got good ink on the stamp, and then we're going to pop that down like that. And then again, just one last one, like that. Okay. Now we're going to come back in with our red. And we're just going to pop 3 berries, whatever you like. There's just a little bit of a gap in the leaves, so that's where I'm putting the berries. Sorry, I'm way off frame again. Apologies. So then we're going to do this, and then this. Okay. Now, the cherry cobbler is really, really juicy. So I'm just going to leave it for a bit. What I wanted to do first, and I forgot to do it first, is just come in, and I'm just trying to find a place to do this. I'm just using my scissors to just rough up the edge. Because what I found was it was a little stark against the fern folder. It was just a little bit of a too straight an edge. So I'm just roughing up the edge of the paper. Years ago, there was a tool that you could use to score down the side, but a pair of scissors works just as well. I'm just taking care not to put my thumb on the red ink because it is still just a little bit juicy and I don't want it to smear. So, okay. So that is our card front. Now, the magic. So I'm going to move everything out of the way. You may have seen me do something similar to this before. I got my Wink of Stella. So I'd run out, I have it now, and this is what we're going to do. We've got our bone folder. I'm going to squeeze the Wink of Stella, make sure it's really juicy, and I'm just going to hit it against the bone folder. And it doesn't look like anything's happening for a little bit, and then you really start to see it. So I'm just gonna, it has got to be really wet, really juicy. And you can see when you do this, you can start to see where the spatter pattern goes, and that's, you can kind of help direct where you want it to go on your page. And you just keep whacking it. There you go. It looks like the best angle is kind of holding this at a 45 and then hitting this straight down. Now this takes a little bit to dry, so you don't want to be smearing it around right away. So I'm just going to pop this off to the side, and you can see it's got that glitter to it. I'm hoping that the light will pick it up. I'm just going to pop that off to the side, and then we're going to build our card. So I'm just going to put some adhesive along each edge of the mossy meadow that I've run through the fern folder. And then I'm just putting it in with just like 1/8 of an inch border, just like that. Same on this side, except I'm better right-handed, so I'm just going to turn the card around. If you turn the card around, you need to really make sure you've got it back the right way before you put your card front on. So I've got this the right way around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the adhesive on the card base, because again, I don't want to be smearing the front of that card with the Wink of Stella on it right now. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to line it up so that it's in the middle, right at the top there. And I'm going to make sure I'm lined up and straight all the way down. And then I'm just going to give it a couple of little pushes. When it's all dry, I'll give it a really good push. The other thing you can do is you can just turn it over and give it a good push so you're not smearing things, because where the Wink of Stella touched the red, it could still be a little bit wet. So that is our final card, using the classic letters with the Fern 3D embossing folder and the splatter effect with the Wink of Stella. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.